So we have 500,000 people that were chasing after 3 days of music and a chance at some peace, and well, they accidentally made history. I'm Matt Haskell, I'm a high school history teacher, and we're going through Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, lyric by lyric, line by line, and we're up with Woodstock. And when Billy Joel sings Woodstock, he's pointing to the August of 69, August 15th through 18th of 69, that festival on Max Yasgur's farm near Bethel, New York. And there was an expected crowd of several tens of thousands of people that swelled to hundreds of thousands, and it actually turned a concert into something that was just a cultural marker. The setup of the event said counterculture. The logistics of it just said it's going to be chaos. Fences were crashed, tickets became useless, the highways were jam-packed, and the governor he considered sending in the National Guard. Organizers pivoted to a free festival. Locals were bringing in food, and there were shortages. Then there was the rain and the mud and the medical tents that were working nonstop. And yet, with all the strain that was taking place, the crowd stayed largely peaceful. The headline, was basically, there's cooperation under the pressure of it all. But the music of what happens here, it writes the myth. Richie Havens opened with, some improvised urgency. Santana broke out with a relatively searing set. Then you have Sly and the Family Stone that turned that evening into a call and response kind of experience. The Who thundered through a dawn set. Joan Baez, Janis Joplin, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and then others began stitching together, folk and soul and rock, and all into the same weekend. On Monday morning, Jimi Hendrix closed, to a thinned crowd with a feedback-charged Star-Spangled Banner, an anthem that was reimagined as a kind of commentary for the time. So, why did it matter beyond the music? Woodstock, it shows how the scale of a generation and the infrastructure it required, sound towers, lighting rigs, makeshift clinics, volunteer kitchens. It also showed the limits of planning when, the scene becomes a city overnight. The 1970 documentary film and live album carried the weekend's images and sounds far beyond that field. Fixing Woodstock as kind of this shorthand for the possibility, but also the mess of the era. We tie it back into the song with Woodstock. It captures the mud and the music and the mass cooperation in a summer when youth culture stepped onto the main stage, and the country it took notice. The reason why it matters as a whole, why Woodstock matters, it explains how music and media and movement all converge. It proved a crowd that a size could choose care over conflict, and it gave the counterculture a lasting symbol that the industry could also sell. If you enjoyed this particular episode, hey, that's great. I'm going to keep making these because we had, what did we start with in this line? Woodstock, Watergate, punk rock. Yeah, so we're going. So yeah, Moonshot, Woodstock, Watergate, punk rock. And so Watergate is up next. So it'll be quite a bit of contrast. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.